Hello, guys, and welcome to episode 28 of Jack Reads. And this is where I'll be reading the Koala Brothers book, The Koala Brothers Lolly Comes to Town. And so, let's continue on with the book. And so, here is the book, which is The Koala Brothers Lolly Comes to Town. And over here, we have a map of the outback. The Koala Brothers, Lolly Comes to Town. The outback is full of wonderful sounds, but none is more wonderful than the sound of an ice cream van on a hot, sunny day. And Lolly's ice cream is the best for miles around. One sweltering afternoon, Alice, Archie, and Mitzi were all feeling hot and bothered down by the waterhole. Suddenly, they heard the gentle, jangling sound of distant music. "It's Lolly!" yelled Mitzi. Sure enough, Lolly's ice cream van soon came into sight, but as it trundled towards the waterhole, no one noticed its engine was making a scraping, scratching, rumbling sound. "Hi, everyone!" Lolly called. "I've been driving through the outback for weeks." "Lovely to have someone to talk to," she grinned. Anyone for an ice cream?" "Rather," said Archie. "What a treat!" "Yes, please." "Yes, please," beamed Alice. The friends all agreed that ice cream on a boiling hot day was just the thing to cool them down. "I hope she's got chocolate chip," said Mitzi dreamily. Meanwhile, at the Koala Brothers homestead, Ned and Buster had found other ways to keep cool. Ned sat in front of a fan while Buster played a towel full of ice cubes on his hot head. Then Frank appeared with a jug of ice-cold orange squash. "Thanks, Frank. Just what I need," said Buster happily. He thought the drink was just for him and drank down the lot in a few thirsty gulps. But that was for all of us," gasped Frank. "Oh no," cried Buster, realizing his mistake. "I'm sorry. Here, Ned, you can have my ice pack." Ned wasn't sure it really suited him. Back at the waterhole, Lolly leaned out of her van to give Mitzi a beautiful, big ice cream cone. It was filled with chocolate chip ice cream. "Oh, thank you, Lolly," said Mitzi. But just as she took it, bang! The ice cream van's engine went up in smoke. Mitzi jumped in surprise, and her ice cream fell splat onto the sizzling sun. "My ice cream van! It's broken down!" wailed Lolly. She tried turning on the engine again, but it wouldn't start. The engine keeps the ice cream cold, or my ice cream will melt. What am I going to do?" Everyone wanted to help, but what could they do? Sammy was good with engines, but he wasn't around. "I know," beamed Alice. "I'll drive over to the homestead and get help from Frank and Buster." Everyone agreed it was a great idea. Alice swiftly jumped on her scooter and scooted away, leaving Archie to fiddle with the broken engine. We've got to think of some way to stop the ice cream melting," said Lolly. "We could eat it," cried Mitzi. Archie frowned. You can't eat a whole tub of ice cream." Mitzi smiled. "I can." Alice soon arrived at the homestead, but being so forgetful, she found she wasn't quite sure why she'd come.
Maybe if you sit down and cool off, you'll remember,
suggested Buster. Alice sat on the veranda next to Ned.
Why are you wearing that towel on your head? She laughed. It's an ice pack,
said Buster proudly. Buster, how made it to cool me down?
Ice!
cried Alice. She jumped up and danced about with excitement.
That's it! Ice! Ice cream!
Now Alice remembered everything. She turned to the Koala brothers.
Lolly's van is broken down in the waterhole and her ice cream's melting, she said. She needs your help. Leave it to us, Alice,
said Frank confidently. He turned to Buster and Ned.
Get ready for takeoff.
Frank and Buster buckled up and Ned opened the gates. Soon it was chocks away. The yellow plane soared up into the wide blue sky. Back at the waterhole, the ice cream was still melting, and there was no sign of the Koala brothers. Then Mitzi pointed up into the sky.
Look, she yelled, they're here!
The moment the plane had landed, Frank and Buster leapt out.
Don't worry, Lolly, said Frank. Give me the ice cream.
Lolly passed him the heavy tub.
What are you going to do with it, Frank?
She asked.
I'm going to fly back to the homestead and freeze the ice cream in our freezer, he said. There's not a minute to lose. What about me, Frank?
asked Buster.
You can stay here, Buster, and try to fix the van, Frank called.
You Koala brothers really are helpful, said Lolly happily. Buster grinned.
We're here to help.
Once Frank had flown away, Buster busted himself under the bonnet, but it was no use.
I can't get it to work, he sighed.
I bet Sammy can, cried Mitzi. Sammy was a wizard with engines, and she just spotted his three-wheeled van coming their way. When Sammy arrived, he unclipped some cables and wiggled some wires, and Lolly's engine started.
It worked, laughed Lolly. Thank you, Buster and Sammy.
Buster smiled.
Let's get to the homestead to get the ice cream.
Mitzi nodded eagerly.
I can't wait for my chocolate chip.
Back at the homestead, Frank had some very good news for Lolly.
The ice cream's fine,
he grinned. Lolly was quite overcome with happiness.
Oh, Frank,
she spluttered as her friends gathered round her.
How can I thank you? How can I possibly thank you all?
Mitzi took a couple of steps forward and smiled shyly.
Well,
Lolly laughed.
Ha, 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 I know. Who's for ice cream?
Everyone cheered.
Yes. Mine's a chocolate chip,
shouted Mitzi. When Lolly had finished handing out ice creams, it was time for her to go.
Bye, Lolly,
everyone called.
Thank you.
Lolly leaned out the van window and beamed at them all. I'll be back soon, she promised. And everyone hoped that she would be back soon, because on a hot and sunny day in the outback, the most magical sound of all was the sound of Lolly's ice cream van as it came to town. The end. And there's the map of the outback again. Everyone loves an ice cream on a hot day. It smiles all around when Lolly and her ice cream van come to town. But can the Koala brothers save the day when all the ice cream starts to melt? The end. Well, guys, I hope you've enjoyed that story. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time for another video. Bye bye.